Woohoo! It's the playoffs, baby. It is the playoffs. This has to be the most exciting podcast we record. I'm trying to think. I mean, for us Celtics fans, the playoffs times, it's like Christmas. It's the most wonderful time of the year in Boston. The weather's getting nicer, Justin. You know, it's getting warmer. Causeway's got some energy. The Seas are playing on a Sunday afternoon at 1.
Yeah, it's big time. It's like the Celtics are at 1, the Red Sox are on at 1:30, so you could probably do a double screen action, which is probably what I'm going to do. And then the Bruins squeak their way into the playoffs, so they're playing at 7:30. So like it's a very busy Sunday, high intense basketball, high intense hockey, and then you get some baseball in between those two games. There's nothing better.
There's nothing better. Nothing better than being a Boston sports fan in April. Welcome back, guys, to another installment of the Celtics Talk Weekly podcast. I'm your host, Robbie Hayte, and joined with me with my co-host, Justin Lowe. Guys, if you're not already following us on all of our social medias, go do that down below at Celtics Talk Weekly, at Celtics Rising. Again, pumping out some amazing stuff for you guys over there throughout the course of the playoffs. We are finally here, Justin. The Boston Celtics and the Philadelphia 76ers are set to match up for the 23rd time in franchise history in the playoffs. This time it's going to be in the first round. The 2-seeded Boston Celtics see the 7-seeded Philadelphia 76ers after Philly took down in an embarrassing Orlando team who they're actually about to tip off when we're recording this against Charlotte. So just right off the bat, you know, our expectations coming into this series, I mean, again, we're really only going to be looking into this matchup in particular, but we've talked a little bit over text back and forth, but I'm excited to hear kind of your initials in terms of where you're at and what you're expecting heading into the series.
Yeah, so I think this is a lot more exciting series that we could have got. Orlando was the other option, and there's just not as much juice. There'll never be as much juice with the Celtics matchup as there is Celtics versus Sixers. No matter the stakes, no matter the time of year, Celtics Sixers always bats eyes, and it's always an exciting matchup. It's very, very intense. The two fan bases, as toxic as they come, and as diehard as they come. So it's definitely an exciting time of the year when the Celtics and Sixers meet in the postseason. The Celtics have won 13 straight postseason matchups against the Philadelphia 76ers. So history is on their side, but I don't think this is a Philadelphia team that you can overlook as much as people are saying. So do I think that they're going to beat the Celtics in a 7-game series? Absolutely not. Do I think it's going to be tougher than people might give it credit for? I do. I definitely think that Philadelphia is the tougher choice out of Orlando and Philadelphia. You definitely got the tougher bunch, especially if Embiid does work his way back into the rotation. For the Sixers, we seem to say that every year, by the way. I know, and I will say appendicitis is totally different. Like that stinks, but it's always this time of year that we're talking about. Well, if Embiid's in the lineup, then the Sixers are going to be nice. But it's like, like, are we gonna talk that talk? But
right.
I think the Celtics and Sixers, this is always a fun matchup, no matter if it's in the second round or the first round. It never fails to disappoint. And we're going to get a real good look at this Philadelphia team, and we'll, kind of get into depth about this roster and about, the matchups that we played. But just kind of right off the top of our heads here, I mean, exciting combo guard with Maxey and Edgecombe. Right. And we've seen it 4 games. These two are explosive offensively. Defensively has their qualms, but I'm excited, Rob. This could be a fun. I think this could be whether it's a 4 or 5, 6-game series. I think it could be a fun series.
Absolutely. I think this is 100% a series Boston has to be up for. And I think that's awesome for teams in the first round, especially for the Celtics team who have had past experiences of falling asleep at times. And I think when you're flying down playing a sleepy Orlando team, it's really easy to kind of take your foot off the gas. I think Philly, like you said, they have a frisky guard combo with Edgecombe and Maxey.
Yeah.
PG, Paul George, has been balling out recently,
Kelly
coming
Oubre.
off of that suspension.
Yeah.
So Joe said it best. Like, this is a series that it's going to be a test. Like, you got to be up. If you're sleeping against, Maxey and against Edgecombe and Paul George, and you said it, if they can manage to get Embiid back in the lineup, like, this is a Sixers team that, if you're not careful, they can extend this series. And I think I think there's a lot of really interesting lenses to look at this series, because on one hand you have the Boston Celtics, right, who are this championship contender with expectations that are very high this year, or not even this year, this playoffs, right? And then you got the Sixers, who in this series are they're the underdog. They're the 7th seed, right? They are
Right.
a team that is playing with house money, and I think teams that play with house money are the most dangerous teams you can come around.
Yeah.
And those are the teams that, again, you go to sleep for a second, right? They'll sneak up and they'll put you in a guillotine, right?
Yeah.
Shout out Joe
I,
Mazzulla on that one.
so like that makes that like, and I've said this to you so many times, you cannot call sweeps anymore in the NBA.
No,
You cannot call sweeps anymore.
which I love this. You texted me this the other day.
Yeah, and I think it's so important. I think it's the league has grown and the talent in the league has grown from top to bottom, especially in the Eastern Conference. You can no longer call the sweeps, and we saw it against Brooklyn 4 years ago, and we saw it against Indiana 2 years ago, where the Celtics swept both those teams. But looking back at those series, it felt like it was a 6-7 game series in each round, each
Yep.
opponent. Right.
Yep.
Right. Like these were close sweeps. So you no longer, besides the Cleveland Miami matchup last year, which was like 40-point wins for Cleveland across the board, you very rarely see an easy sweep or a sweep at all. Usually it's a gentleman's sweep, a 6-game series. I think that's where this series goes. I don't see Philly rolling over.
No.
I think if anything, yes, Philadelphia is the underdog, but I think this series, do I want to say it means more to Philadelphia than Boston because it's the playoffs?
I mean, it's like,
go ahead,
like,
because Philadelphia loses to Boston every year. They lose to them in the playoffs. They lose to them in summer league. They lose to them in the regular, like year round.
Yeah.
They lose to Boston, and they're sick
Every
of it. They
time.
have to, like. I don't want to pull some voodoo, which I've been known to do. But like, it's almost like
it's getting scary.
it's almost like they're freaking due. And I said this to you the other day, where it's like, what, like if Philadelphia doesn't beat Boston this year, and I hate to roll the excuse game, but like it's not rolling the excuse game, but like if the Philadelphia can't beat the Celtics in a gap year where Tatum is a month and a half off of an Achilles rupture return, like I don't know when, like we don't have Porzingis or Holiday and this whole super team that we apparently had, like I don't know when the hell they're going to beat the Celtics. It's not this year.
Like, yeah. I mean, and I think the weird thing with this Philly Boston matchup is, and I think you made you tweeted about this yesterday or the day before. Neither of these teams have really seen each other.
Yeah.
One in relatively in a last time they matched up was March 1st. No Embiid, no Tatum that game. And then the rest of the games, there's like these two teams haven't seen each other outside of that March 1st game since the beginning of the season in the NBA Cup. Yeah. And then like November 11th, gap. I believe.
Yeah.
So it's like these two teams aren't familiar with each other really this year, which is interesting because they're inter division. And it's kind of, that's where it's like, I'm looking at Philly, and on paper, it's like, okay, Boston should come into the series, and this should be a series in which Boston can, command. But I'll tell you what, Boston has a lot of trouble with quick guards. We've seen it in the past. Steph Curry, Trae Young. I mean, the list, Donovan Mitchell, the list goes on and on. Like those quick guards who have a quick first step, can go downhill, can step back and knock down the three. They give us trouble. Maxey, I texted this to you. Maxey is, to me, like one of those players that just he's scary. He is scary.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be interesting. I do. So it's very interesting.
I think it would be very rare for the Celtics to not control the series and not control the game. But basketball is a game of runs. Right. And I've said this for so long. I find Philadelphia more dangerous when Embiid's out of lineup. You have those two guards who can play extremely fast, get up and down the floor. The pace is only, according to the stats that I've seen, the pace is only off by a few tenths of a point. I believe it's 48.5 to 40, whether Embiid plays or not. But it's the style in which the Philadelphia 76ers are able to play in when Embiid is not on the court. Celtics like to slow things down. Celtics like to play at a slow pace and pick up at half court and play that game. It slows down traditionally in the playoffs, but when you get those combo guards like Maxey and Edgecombe, like it's a little bit different. So I'm very interested to see how that transpires. Regular season, you talk about the 2-2, it just, to me, it diminishes anything. Once you get to the playoffs, it's a totally different ball game, especially since you haven't seen this team in well over a month. And on top of that, the first 3 quarters of this series was finished in November, which is
the first 3 weeks of the season.
yeah, it's like incredible.
Yeah.
So you had 2 of those games in October. So neither team got a proper look at each other. Sometimes you get that sneak peek about a week or 2 before the playoffs, and it's like,
Right.
okay, like New York last week.
Right.
But we didn't get that with Philadelphia, and Philadelphia didn't get that with us. So it's kind of fresh for both teams. I'm very interested to see how the Celtics come out in game 1.
Right.
I've told you this.
You
If
did.
there's a game to lose for the Celtics, it'd be that game 1. And maybe that game 3, their first Philadelphia's
game
first home
3.
game, I could totally see Maxey get going and the Philly crowd gets going. Like that, I could for sure see. I would hate, and maybe it's a little deja vu since 3 years ago, Philly punched us in the mouth game 1 in Boston. I just could see that the Celtics maybe getting caught off guard a little bit game 1. And maybe I'm giving Philadelphia way too much credit because I've been known to give our opponents too much credit. But
Right.
if I could definitely see that that starting.
Well, and that's where voice crack. That is where I'm having trouble putting my finger on this series because I also, and I'm like the polar opposite of you. I honestly feel like I don't give teams enough credit at times matching up against the Celtics, right? But now I'm looking at the series and it's like Philly hasn't been exceptional really all year. They really haven't been this they haven't really been able to put together a solid stretch of good basketball where the team's been healthy and they're consistently playing high level basketball, but they've done it enough to be in the race, in the mix, and they kind of got hot towards the end. And just matchup wise, I don't know what to expect because this is what I look at with no Embiid. Well, I think Embiid, not having him on the floor, I agree. I think they're more of an offensive, dangerous team. They can get out, they can get going. Maxey, Edgecombe, they can get out and run and just wreak havoc. But then if you go down the roster, and this is something we talked about last episode, the Boston big men are just a powerhouse right now. So now if you look at that, it's like you got Nimi, Vooch, and Luka going up against what? Drummond, Adam Bamba, and then if Embiid's on the floor, that's their only 2 rostered bigs. They could go a small ball Kelly Oubre at the 5. So it's like I look at that perspective, Justin, and I'm kind of like, okay, does Philly have the bigs to keep up with us?
I don't even think it comes down to the bigs. I think it comes down to the wings. Celtics are just so heavy on the wings.
They are.
These wings have cleared other wing depths in the association all year long, really, and they've adapted well. My thing with Embiid not playing is, boy, the Celtics are going to live on the glass. They're already one of the best rebounding teams in the league. Man, not having Embiid if something hurts about that, it's definitely going to be the rebounding, which I don't think is going to be a walk in the park at all, but the Celtics should very much make it that way, which is going to be crucially important. Philadelphia is going to live off of those second chance opportunities if they get them. Also, Philadelphia, I believe they're in the bottom 5 of corner 3-point shots given up. So to me, and I bring back the wing talk with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, they love to drive and kick. those wings got to be ready. Baylor Shireman, Sam Hauser, Ugo Gonzalez, Jordan Walsh. Like, that's going to be a huge thing for the Celtics if they're able to exploit that in Philadelphia.
Yeah, Philly was at the bottom half of the league for rebounding, 43.6 per game. Boston was in the top
Right?
3.
Yeah.
So it's like that should be an area Boston dominates in. I think for me, the only like who gets the Maxey assignment? Because do you go White, do you go Brown, or do you mix coverage? Or do you go Shireman? Because I've been seeing a lot of Baylor Shireman.
So you're gonna have
White.
They will attack Sam Hauser. They will find the mismatch every time, and they will exploit Sam Hauser. I'm going to be very, very intrigued to see how Joe Mazzulla handles that. Do they hedge? Do they and first and foremost, if they run drop coverage on Tyrese Maxey, it's just not going to work.
No.
It's just not going to work. Because that's what's scary about Tyrese Maxey is he could kill you inside, he can kill you outside. If you play too high up, he's taking you right to the basket, he's blowing by you. But if you drop coverage just by a foot, he's launching that and it's going in.
Yeah.
I think so. Where would you put? Well, hold on. Where would you put Jaylen Brown?
So that's the question. So I'm tempted matchup wise. You got to go because then you also have Edgecombe you have to worry about. So I split Brown and White between VJ and Maxey. I put Tatum on Oubre.
I put Sam Hauser on Oubre.
You put Sam. You want to put Sam somewhere. I mean, you're right. The action is going to be going at Sam Hauser like 7 out of 10 times when he's on the floor. So I like that. Hauser's on Oubre. You put Nemi on Drummond or Bona. Who starts there?
Yeah.
See, I don't even know that.
Bona's going to start.
Bona's going to start.
Yeah.
And then leaves Jordan. Yeah, and then Tatum on PG. But you can also go Brown on PG. Can you go Tatum on Edgecombe though?
Nah, I don't know if they do that.
I don't think you do that. I mean, you're right. Wing wise, they're. So then here's the question. Then do you even go Sam in the starting lineup? Do you go? Yes. Does Joe pivot and go Baylor or Ugo or?
So I pushed for Baylor for so long to get into that starting lineup, and maybe he does. First of all, everybody has a shorter leash in the playoffs. So if something doesn't work, Joe is going to instantly make that. So that's why I've calmed down a little bit on the whole, why is Vooch playing all these minutes and Garza's not? Because first of all, he needs those minutes, Vooch.
Yeah.
He's going to get those minutes. He's going to. That's why Brad Stevens brought him here. He's going to get these playoff minutes. And Luka Garza has proven, whether it was in the preseason or game 82 out of 82 against Orlando, he's shown that when he gets his opportunity, it does not matter how many minutes he's going to produce for this team. I'm not worried about that. Right? So if Vooch doesn't work in the playoffs, if it's not working out, Joe's going to pull him, and Joe's going to put Luka Garza in, and Garza's going to be ready. I think that applies to everybody else on this team. If the defensive assignment of Sam Hauser is not working, yes, I think they go Jordan Walsh. Yes, I think they go Baylor Shireman. I think they make that adjustment. We saw that in the New York series last year with Kristaps Porzingis when he wasn't producing. Luke Cornett was put into that starting lineup with Porzingis coming in off the bench. Like that Joe Mazzulla is going to make the right move. I 110% trust that, and I think everybody else has to trust that too. I think we're at that point now where everybody just has to stop questioning Joe Mazzulla and just trust him. Now, I think I've been the number one complainer. Sam Hauser needs to make these shots. Sam Hauser's offense is going to be crucially important throughout the playoffs. His shot is going to be crucially important in the playoffs, especially in this Philadelphia series where they're horrible at defending the corner three. Tatum drives, kicks out. Sam Hauser, one of the best three-point shooters in the league, has a wide open corner three. Yes, please. He shoots just under 40% from three this year. Absolutely going to need Sam Hauser. I think they exploit Hauser defensively, but I think the Celtics defensively this year have proven that they will be ready for that.
Yeah, and then on the flip, because I agree. One, you can't question Joe and his rotations because the man's rotations have been flawless this season. I mean,
Mm.
to a T, flawless, just perfect. I mean, even I remember when he was playing Baylor, I was questioning. I was like, why is Baylor? What is exactly is Baylor doing? Like why is he out there? And then Joe just was like, give it time, give it time, give it time. And next thing you know, Baylor gets acclimated, and Baylor has just been phenomenal post All-Star break for this team. I mean, just phenomenal. Gosh, amazing for us. Same thing with Garza and so all these guys. But I think the one interesting factor, and this is what's so fun about the playoffs, where it's such a chess match, where some series you lean heavier on other role players, right? Because it's not so matchup based, right? And teams, and again, we're seeing less and less of it because teams are getting deeper and deeper with the shortening of the traditional thing, right? Like 10 years ago, as the playoffs roll around, you shorten your rotation like two
7,
guys.
8 guys,
It's
yeah.
like 7 or 8. Um, we saw Indy and OKC run 11 to 12 until the finals last year. So it'll be interesting to see how deep Joe goes. And I think Joe will not hesitate to put these guys in. I don't think Joe necessarily runs a tight rotation. I could be wrong because Joe has a tendency at times to run tight rotations when we need to in big games. But it'll be interesting because I agree. While Hauser is could struggle defensively, I also think there's a lot of opportunity on the offensive floor for Boston to go at Maxey and Bona in actions and Drummond and get Hauser some nice looks with drive and kicks using Brown, Tatum, and White, and even Pritchard. So, like, it'll be interesting because I do believe there is a spot on the floor for Hauser this series. I don't think he can't be out there. But at the same time, it's like I do also think that there's a chance that game 2 rolls around and Joe's like, okay, this is Ugo's series, and Hauser will have a series at some point down the line, you know?
Yeah, so I think I had something. I had something. It slipped my mind. Clearly it wasn't that important.
It's been a long day.
Yeah, it has. But so yeah, so the whole thing with Hauser, I think Hauser's going to be on the. I think that's a given with Hauser. He's not going to get the MPs in the playoffs. But I do think the leash will be short enough to where Joe will make the adjustment right away.
Yeah.
Man, Rob, I'm pissed off because I had a. I don't know what it was. Let's move on. I don't know what it was.
Should we roll back to try to respark that with what we're talking about? We got Ugo, we got the bench, rotations,
Oh,
playoff.
that's exactly what it was.
Boom, there we go. That's why
Okay.
quick
All
little
right.
reset.
Good. All right. So I don't know if it's my only qualm with this team going into the postseason, but I've mentioned it on previous episodes where yes, this is the most productive Celtics team from top to bottom I think we had in years. I also think on the other end of that, a little bit of my worrisome and concerns come from the lack of experience
Mhm.
certain guys have, and a lot of these guys have. Every single person is playing a bigger role this season. With
Yeah.
the injuries that we've had and the departures that we've had, even with Tatum coming back, guys like Nemish Queta and Baylor Shireman, Jordan Walsh, even, and you throw in 19-year and now 20-year-old Hugo Gonzalez rookie. They've had a great regular season, absolutely, but the playoffs are different. Baylor and Nemi played last year in the playoffs, garbage minutes, no disrespect. They didn't play 20, 30, 40 minutes a game. They didn't play those stretches, those big momentum stretches in the playoffs. So it's going to be really interesting to see how those guys handle it on a night-to-night basis when they're playing every other night, 30, 40 minutes a game. It's going to be very, very interesting when their roles are extremely large and heavily dependent on in a best of 7,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, the game
So
changes.
yeah, totally, man. And the physicality and the crowds and the atmospheres. Not saying they're not up to it, but
Right.
I'm very interested to see if there's any really concern with this potential playoff run I have. It would be a lot of these guys aren't as experienced in the postseason. Yes, you have your champions with the Hausers and the Pritchards, the Tatums and the Browns, and the Joe Mazzulla who knows how to handle the situation. But now when you start to integrate guys like Jordan Walsh and Nemish Queta in larger roles and Baylor Shireman in larger roles in the playoffs, you start to kind of bat an eye a little bit and say, are these guys up for it? Can these guys consistently produce every other night in a playoff atmosphere? We're going to have to sit and see.
We will. And I will say to that point, I think what makes this team special is they have a lineup. They have lineups where it's so championship DNA rooted, where they can almost lean on those guys a little more at times, right? You can lean on a lineup that was rolling out with White, Brown, Hauser, Tatum. That's four guys who've been there before, right? So it's like these players, while they haven't been there, they'll have the luxury of being alongside players that have and coaches that have to guide them. Because I agree. I mean, you got it on the money. It's a different ball game now, right? The game slows down a little bit for some, and it speeds up dramatically for others. The crowd's louder, national TV sitting courtside, the celebrities come out to watch. I mean, especially Philly Boston, like this is a marquee matchup here, folks. Like this is a big game. Like this is a big series. You got two big markets, rivals. I'm pumping myself up now just talking about it. Like it's going to be a big first round matchup, and it's going to be a great to get these guys feet wet series. I think to get Ugo, to get Luca, to get Walsh, Nimi. Nimi's been there, but he hasn't really been there in the rotation. Like he's been on the bench, but you haven't really been in the game. It's gonna be really interesting to see how these guys step up. I think they will. It will take time though. 100%. I think as Celtics fans and watching the games, you gotta understand that games changed a little. It might take them a little bit. For you, who do you think from the Celtics side would be considered your X factor of this series? Like one guy where you're like, he's the X factor here for Boston to get him out of the series.
If I'm going to be honest with you, it's going to be Derek White.
Yeah, I would agree.
I would say it's Derek White. And listen, I know this year he has not shot the basketball at his most efficient level that we're accustomed to the first 2 or 3 years that he's been here. But Derek White does so many other things on the basketball floor for this team that's so crucially important. Starts on the defensive end. This is a point guard, shooting guard, blocking shots like he's 7'6" Victor Wembanyama. Like seriously, like he is a rim protecting guard. He's an all defensive team candidate. I think it's going to depend on Derek White, and also with his offense. I think his offense needs to come alive in this series, and it's going to be really important, not only in this series, but if the Celtics want to make it to the semifinals and the conference finals and the NBA finals, they're going to need Derek White shooting, and that's going to be really important. I think it's Derek White. I think I don't know who else I would put for the Celtics. Maybe Nemish Queta, but I would say probably Derek White.
I was gonna say White too. It says White on my notes. I'll go one. I'll do like a B option for me. If it's not White, I'd go Pritchard off the bench.
Oh.
Because I think like again, the bench has a lot of question marks with guys who haven't been to the playoffs before, outside of Pritchard and Vooch. So I think in a series in which Boston's a phenomenal defensive team, I do think there's a lot of defensive problems they're going to encounter defending Philly. So I think offensively, you really got to be there because I think these Sixers are flamethrowers.
I think with Philadelphia, and I mentioned earlier how they like to give up a lot of corner threes. This could be a big offensive series for Nikola Vucevic.
They could very much so.
This is such a stretch big matchup for the Celtics.
Yeah.
I think. And so like even with Vooch, and this is like the luxury of having a stretch big like a Nikola Vucevic, and he's really good at playmaking as well. There's going to be so many eyes drawn to Nikola Vucevic on the perimeter, where one backdoor cut is going to slip the Celtics 2 points. Yep. And okay, you want to focus on the other guys and drop down a little bit. Nikola Vucevic can knock down the three. So I actually, Derek White is my A option. B option would probably be Nikola Vucevic for me.
I like that because not only do you have to worry about Vooch in the corner, you got to make a decision, right? Are you living and dying by giving Vooch a good look at the corner, right? Or are you living and dying by letting Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum roll by you and get to the cup, right? It's like, and that's what's so dangerous about this team offensively. So I like the Garza pick. How about from Philly? Because for me, it's like, okay, well, Maxey, but I would say for Philly, the X factor is actually Paul George.
I agree 110%. I don't know what Paul George we're going to see in this playoffs. He's had some really good stretches since he's returned to the lineup for Philadelphia, and then he's had some really, really piss poor nights. So I really don't know what kind of Paul George I'm going to get this postseason. I know his nickname is Playoff P, but recently we haven't really seen a whole lot of that. It's actually, now that I'm thinking of it, we have a playoff P. They have a playoff P. This could be really fun. I'm
Playoff
excited.
P's.
Battle of the playoff PPs. I'm excited. It's gonna be fun. But no, seriously, I think it depends on what Paul George shows up. I mean, this guy, we know what Paul George is capable of doing offensively. He could be deadly, but also you could live by Paul George or you could die by Paul George. You can either get an extremely uber efficient night from Paul George, or you can get a night where he's shooting 3 of 17 and he just doesn't look all that great. I
Right.
could totally see a night where Paul George just can't miss. The Philly crowd gets going, and the Celtics, obviously, drop a game. But I would say that's a perfect pick for Philadelphia. Is that Paul George? Could you throw in maybe a Kelly Oubre?
I
I
think you could.
think I think he could be a good plan B for a candidate for that.
Absolutely. I think
Um,
when you're
yeah.
Oubre and you got to go against the Celtics wings, Ian George, right? It's like for Philly, it's like, okay, the key to this series, if you're Philly, is contain Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. It's a tough task, but your keys to doing that are Oubre and Paul George.
It's going to be a tall task for Philadelphia in general, but you looked at the big men earlier. I'm looking at the wings, and the Celtics just have so many versatile wings. Like the list just goes on and on and on and on and on, and it showcased that on Sunday night against Orlando last week, right? Like
Right.
just the amount of wings the Celtics can throw at you is just unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, the Celtics, that's another thing. It's like depth wise, the Celtics can do a lot more than Philly can do on both ends of the floor. And we've talked about this. So for Philly, you got Maxey, Edgecombe, Oubre, Paul George, and then you got no Embiid now. So you're going Bana there. Off the bench, they got Grimes, and Grimes is a flamethrower. He can get going. I could see Grimes giving us some trouble too in this series. I mean, I remember a couple games last year where Grimes got going against us. You got Grimes. Then outside of that, you got
It's
Justin
like
Edwards.
Watford,
Yeah,
yeah.
Barlow. Like you don't necessarily have if you're Philly. It's like if you're, and this is what's so important with Paul George the series, right? If you're Philly, what exactly does it look like when Maxey's off the floor? Because that's when things. I think that there's a great chance in this series we see Philly when Maxey's on the floor. It's a dead even game, right? The Philly and Boston are playing each other, to a T, dead even, and then Maxey's off the floor. Next thing you know, Boston's up 12. Maxey's back on. That's down to 6. Maxey's, what I'm saying. I think this could be dependent on Tyrese Maxey.
There's no so you probably would probably look at like, oh, no way, you know, Paul George is on the court, or no way if Maxey's off the court, Paul George is too. I kind of see it the other way around, where it's like, no way Maxey goes to the bench at the same time as Edgecombe. Like, there's
Yeah,
no
you just
way,
can't. You
at
just can't.
least not one of those two are on the bench at the same time. Also, I'm interested to see Edgecombe in the playoffs. Like, this
Yeah,
guy had a ridiculous rookie year, and then, like, I don't know, like, look at a guy like Con Knipple. Like, he's had an unreal, probably rookie of the year. And then look at him in the play-in game, and that guy, like, totally crumbled. Like,
yeah.
he put up a sticker, and I love Con Knipple, by the way. But it's the truth. In that second half, in that fourth quarter, in the overtime, like Knipple looked terrible. He looked shooken up. So I'm interested to see how Edgecombe plays in the playoffs as well. But yeah, man, I don't know. I don't know. I'm interested to see that. I'm excited, man. Celtics and Sixers, like, we've had it in 2023, but like, I don't know if it's because that 2018 team is the team that I refer to when I say the Celtics haven't had a productive roster from top to bottom, this productive in a while. My in a while is that 2018 team when, like, we
Yeah.
had like Shane Larkin, Shemi Ojale,
Greg
Gershon
Monroe.
Yabusele, Aaron Baines, Greg Monroe, like all those guys, and it, like, just ridiculous. Marcus Morris, like Terry Rozier. So like the list goes on with that team, and that's
What's
yeah, that
your What's your favorite Celtics Sixers playoff matchup that you've seen?
Um,
Because they've had some battles. Like for me, I
the
think back to that
confetti game was fun.
I was 9, I was young, but that 2012 second round series against Philly, that goes 7, and Rondo hits those 2 big shots in Game 6. I
That was
believe it was
against
Game 6.
Vooch. That was against
Against
Vooch
yeah, Bucci's rookie
2012.
year. 2018 was a great series where the confetti game. I saw that clip on Instagram today where Philly drops the confetti. 2020 got the
That
bubble.
2018
2023.
that 2018 was so sweet because the Celtics, not a single person picked the Celtics. Like, I don't even know if the Celtics picked the Celtics in that series. No Kyrie, no Gordon Hayward.
Yeah, and you got
Like,
it done to 5.
and you got it done in 5.
Yeah,
Like,
that series was
like,
special.
like it's not like you squeaked it out of your arse and won it in 7. No, you beat them in 5. Like,
It
you were
had some
supposed to get
iconic
swept.
moments in that series.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the confetti dropping. I'm pretty sure Jaylen Brown had a poster on Embiid.
Yep.
Um,
You
uh,
had Marcus Smart with that steal who's come back from injury.
yeah, like just that series was so incredible. And then like the pandemic, the bubble, like the bubble hoops is like so cinematic. Like that was some of the best basketball I ever
That was good
watched.
to
The
watch.
Celtics swept the Sixers, so that was sweet. Al Horford was on the Sixers, and I know that we were still a little bit sour from him leaving the year before. So like it that series you can't recall too much of, just because I think when you
No, there
look
was like
back
not
at the
yeah.
when you look back at the bubble in that run, I think you think obviously that Miami series, as crushing as that was, but like that Toronto series was one of the greatest series like of all
It was
time.
peak.
That
That was
game
peak.
7,
Yeah.
that was incredible. But I would say my favorite would be 20 that confetti game to go up 3-0. It is so hard to go up 3-0 in a series. Like I was like usually like I don't know. I'm just like, nah, no way this is gonna happen. I'm so like, no way this got like when the Celtics went up 3-0 in Dallas, and that was a close game, game 3. I'm like, no way we go up 3-0.
Yeah.
No way. And we go up 3-0. And that was pretty cool. We lost this game, but game 4, when Marcus Morris was going 3-0 and Bede was talking crap,
Yeah,
and he's like
yeah.
2-3-0. Like you can have this game, man.
I mean, for me, that 2018 series, I love that one
Mm,
because it was so special because Philly got so hot at the end of the year and they were like the team coming in. They were like the hot team. You had no Kyrie, no Gordon. And then there was also like the weird dynamic that was so interesting of Tatum being a rookie, but Simmons being like the redshirt rookie. So that was really cool because like that felt like the start of a potential Jason Tatum versus Ben Simmons rivalry that kind of fell short.
dude, Simmons used to be so good, man. Like
So good.
rookie, oh, so good. Yeah.
His so good. It's a shame. And then like it would be wrong not to talk about 2023. It's got to be up there for me.
Oh my gosh, I totally
Yeah,
forgot about that.
like
Yeah, game 7
2023.
Tatum.
I mean, game 6 back against the wall. Tatum comes
So
alive.
game 6 was my like least favorite game of all time
It was
until
the
like
most
2 minutes
stressful
left.
game ever.
Well, because the Celtics were losing like that almost entire game, and I just remember until like the fourth quarter, late in the fourth quarter when Tatum got going, because he was having a terrible game. I was so ticked out. I remember tweeting like, "No way, Georges Niang is having a better elimination game than Jason Tatum." Like I was pissed because it was the truth. We were getting snapped, pop, and crackled by Georges Niang.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that was intense. Remember that we lost, but game 4, you and I did a watch
We
along.
did a watch. Yeah, oh
And
my
like
gosh. Yep.
that was so fun. The Celtics were down, came back. I don't know. I think they forced overtime or
I
maybe ended up
remember
at the end of the game like last shot, but it was fun.
Brown helped off the corner and left Harden
Yes.
open.
Yes.
Up 2. Gave
Yes.
gave and then Smart hits that shot that was like I think it was post after the buzzer. That series was amazing. And then I mean game 7. And then you have Tatum go for 51 on game 7 on Mother's Day. That series was just awesome.
Yeah, and holding up the 50.
Yeah.
That's incredible. That's it.
That I
And
mean
a couple of those were on Embiid too. Like
oh yeah, in the corner I mean yeah, I mean it's classic. It's Celtics Sixers. I mean I guess for us Celtics fans, we can look back on these. But if you're Philly fans, I mean, these are all probably you're talking about the darkest days of fandom. You're talking about, the confetti game. You're talking about this. So
yeah, that's true. But Philly had some really good moments as well, man. Like, especially, I'd probably say more so in that 2023 series because it was way less lopsided. Like that James Harden game 1,
Oh
in
yeah, he required
Boston
30.
was incredible. No
Yeah,
Embiid, like
yeah,
nobody thought the Sixers were going to win, and they come out and they hit that game winner in game one. Yeah, no,
yeah. That was.
that's
Gosh. Well, we'll see. I mean, we'll see what this series has in store. So, before we close off, I think it's only right we have to make some predictions here. I mean, we gotta give the people. I know. I mean, I know you. We were texting and you were like, making predictions now is so difficult. It's so hard to say. Um, where are you at? I, can we do like a? And maybe this is
I
too
don't
much.
want to.
I want to hear
I
like
don't
your
want to.
game
I
by
hate it.
game.
I hate it. Oh, game by game. So I told you
Yeah.
I have two predictions for this series. I usually go with my worst case scenario, by the way, for the predictions before people are like, what are you thinking? I usually like just my gut goes with worst case scenario. That's just what I do. So best case scenario, I think this is a 5-game series for the Celtics. So I'm going if I'm going my 5-game series, I'm going Boston game 1, Boston game 2, Philly game 3, Boston game 4, Boston game 5. If I'm going what I think might happen, my worst case scenario, I think Philadelphia game 1, Boston game 2, Boston game 3, Philadelphia game 4. We're tied up 2-2, and then the Celtics come home game 5, win, and close it out on the road game 6.
Okay, so
That's
that's
my
your
game by
worst.
game.
Okay, I would go. I like. Is a sweep crazy?
Yeah, and today's NBA, I told you, man, it's so hard to predict a sweep. So hard. Like, so ridiculous. Yeah.
My thing. Okay, so I'm going game one, Celtics win. I have a sneaky suspicion Philly might come in game two and muck the game up a little bit. But all right, so I'm gonna say Celtic. Shit, it's hard. It's so hard because
What's your overall prediction? Like Celtics in 5, right?
Celtics in five.
So
Yeah,
what game do you see the Celtics losing the most? Because obviously they have to lose a game in 5 games.
right. So part of me, and this is interesting because, and gosh, there's so much to think. There's so much going on in my head.
Yeah.
So like you don't know what like tendencies this team has in the playoffs just quite yet. Because like for me, it's like okay, well we've seen them. If they're dropping games, it's the games at home, right? So it's like okay, so that makes me think one or two. It was like one of those first two, and I could see the world where Maxi come. Maybe it's PTSD from Harden. Maxi comes in game one, lights us up, and Boston wakes up, and they're like, okay, gentlemen sweep from there. I could see that, and I also see like game one, it's like okay, boom, Boston comes out, they get the better of them, and then game two, Boston falls asleep a little bit, and Philly wakes us back up. I'll say my official take will be Celtics game one, Philly game two, Celtics.
Hmm. So you think we take both road games?
I do because it's like for me, Boston has been so. And again, it could be a different. It's a new team, so it could be
Yeah.
different. But Brown and Tatum in their Brown and Tatum era, they have been so good on the road. Like something about them traveling. I mean, it's just been ridiculous. They're so good on the road. So that makes me think that they're going to show up on the road here in Philly and take care of business when they're on the road. I will say I wouldn't be shocked if it was a sweep because I think it's these games are going to be really close and Boston just closes them out. But we'll see. I mean, I don't know. And I don't want to come on here and say sweep. I think that's just too crazy.
See, you're a sweep. I'm a 6-game series guy. Like
Six
I
games
think,
wouldn't
yeah, I
surprise
do.
me. I would hate it, but
Because
it wouldn't surprise me.
because because I hate. I don't know. I definitely think it's a 5-game series. I told
Yeah.
you I don't believe in predicting sweeps. I think it's incredibly hard to sweep a team and just like Five, like I definitely think 5 games because like I could totally see like in today's NBA, like all it takes is one player to get going and the crowd feeds off it, and then a couple role players hit shots around him. Like I could so see Maxey going off for like 35, 40 points, and like the crowd gets behind him, and Oubre drills a shot. Like Maxey's the guy, and then Oubre's the one who kind of hits the dagger and like
Yep.
starts showboating. Like I could just so see that
I
in
can see that.
any game in any team. Like I can even see that with Charlotte going against with Charlotte going against Detroit. I just say 6 instead of 5 because a part of me thinks a lot of people think this is going to be too much of a walk in the park for the Celtics. And I would like to think I would like that to be true. And I would like to say, I said 6 games, and it helps me relax if we do lose 2 games. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm also the same guy to say like, oh, Celtics is 7, and then I get pissed if we lose a game. It's like, well, if you said Celtics is 7, they're going to lose 3 games. So,
Right.
like I'm just like that. But I think, yeah, I don't know, man. I
It's
think
gonna be
you
a
think
fun one.
4, I think 5, I think 6.
I'll tell you what. All I know is if you told me 9 months ago, listen, the Boston Celtics are going to be the 2 seed playing against the Philadelphia 7 seeded Philadelphia 76ers with Jason
Yeah.
Tatum back in the lineup in April, I would say, you know what? I like our odds. I like where we're at. So it's going to be a very, very fun series. We're still deciding how exactly we're going to go about covering the
Yeah.
postseason. We'll talk about it again. This isn't like this doesn't have to be an on-air conversation, but we'll let you guys know. We'll keep you guys updated on our Twitter as to what exactly the framework's going to look like. Expect just a podcast series a podcast episode per series. But again, things can change. If there's anything that changes, we'll keep you guys updated. Thank you guys again for listening. Again, we're having a lot of fun being back in the studio recording, or the studio, the virtual studio. And we're very excited. And again, guys, if you're not already following us on social media, make sure you go do that because we're gonna have a lot of fun and cool stuff coming at you guys from both of our ends, covering the Celtics this playoffs. And it's exciting time, exciting time. And uh we will see you guys hopefully after a Celtics series win, guys. And as always, go Celtics.